Hey YouTube, Travis here. You know what? It's a beautiful day outside. Let me get this bike outside. Much better. Man, it's beautiful out. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to talk about the things that I do to hopefully minimize vandalism and prevent theft on my moped, and these are things that you can do as well. Okay, thing number one, don't ride dirty. If your state requires it, or even if it doesn't and you can still get it done, get your bike registered and get a plate for it. In addition, I know for me, I have a license plate, registration, I have insurance, and then I also registered it once again with my local community. They gave me actually a bicycle license. I guess the laws are old enough they have a provision for pedal-powered mopeds and stuff like that. All the documentation you can, so in case your bike is stolen, you have there's no question that it's yours. Also make sure you have the title for it, make a copy of everything, take pictures of your VIN plate, no matter what, so even if, your bike is wrecked or mutilated, you can still point out and say, hey man, that was definitely mine. I feel like the next most important thing is going to be your lock. Always lock your moped up wherever you go. Me personally, whether I'm running into the bank for 2 minutes or, going into a building for 2 hours, I always lock it up. Now I purchased a lock from the Kryptonite company. This is the New York, I believe it's the Forget About It lock. This is the longest one they sell. I believe it's a 5-foot chain. Now you can go to any hardware store if you're on a real budget and get any chain you want, a big thick one like this. But the plus with going with a company like Kryptonite or any other major lock manufacturer that offers this service is their key program. Every key has a special number on it. Once you buy your lock, you register your keys with them. That way in case you ever lose your keys, something horrible happens, you're robbed, your house burns down, whatever, they can just send you a new pair. And this worked for me just because I'm very forgetful, and it's not uncommon for me to lose my keys. So, very handy. Just make sure if you buy a Kryptonite lock, you buy one made after 2005. There was a problem a couple years ago where people would be able to open these up with a ballpoint pen, but the modern locks are much more sophisticated, and I have no fear with this. I like this lock because it's nice and thick, and I feel like even someone with an angle grinder, take them a little decent amount of time to cut through this. Side note, there's a couple other vintage mopeds like this in my community, just a few, and they all do the same thing. This blows my mind. They all take a ULock and they just put it through the front wheel. So, you can't turn the front tire, so you can't walk away with it, but anybody could throw it in the back of a pickup truck or a van. Or even just wheelie it out of there. It blows my mind. When I lock with this big chain here, I go through the front wheel, through the frame, and around whatever I'm locking up against. It's crazy. So that's the big lock. That's the important one. These next two are sort of vandalism things. They're nuisance locks. Sure, anybody could probably break them, but I'm talking about, defending against the average passerby, bro, guy who wants to mess up your day. First thing, lock and gas cap. It's like 15 bucks from Treats or 77 Mopeds. Now this key, let me get out my pocket here. This key is nothing fancy. I feel like even someone with a screwdriver in a couple minutes could really open this, but once again, yeah, here's the key. If it'll focus, it says gas on it. I feel like that's not super hard, but once again, it works. That's on there. The other thing is the fork lock. Now, my bike, somebody years ago broke off the key in the lock, so if yours is functioning, don't be very forceful with it. And I've seen, personally, multiple bikes with the key broken off in the lock. Now, personally, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do here. I might have a locksmith drill this out, or I might be able to TIG weld onto the end of that key and get it out and use the original feature, or I do have this. This is I don't believe it's new old stock. I think this is just new and produced for this bike. A new lock cylinder and key. Again, I believe this was about 15 bucks off of Treats, and might install this as well. Something's going to be done eventually to the point where I have a working fork lock. Once again, just, in case someone cuts through your big lock, this just prevents them from turning the forks and making it that much harder on them. Next, they are ugly, and I don't like them very much. But run your side covers. Because behind here, you've got all your wiring exposed. Anybody could just come through and clip that, rip the wiring out, whatever, just mess up your day. I gotta tuck that a little bit back under there, but that's not a big deal. Once again, anybody can see that that's just a couple bolts holding it on right there, but it's a convenience thing, you know, don't give people the opportunity. Next is your license plate. Now, mopeds love to shake themselves to death when they ride, and I just have a real simple wing nut on here, and I would find that this would become loose, and I would be worried that if this moped was ever stolen, you know, the first thing someone would do is take off the license plate. That's why I bought Loctite thread locker. Like in the picture here, you just pour this stuff, it's like super glue, you put it on the end of the thread, put your nut on, and it hardens and you're good to go. I'm confident doing this because I know I'm going to keep this bike for a few years. When I go to sell it, I can just get a new license plate bracket. It's like whatever. So this isn't coming off very easily. Yeah, anybody with an angle grinder could cut it off, but once again, it's these little things that will work in your favor. Now here's the next thing. Cover your bike. It's a great idea, especially if you're parking it outside. It'll protect against the elements and ideally make it less of a target. I would have liked my tarp not to be bright red, but I didn't really have that luxury when I was ordering it. People use all kinds of stuff for these. If your bike is small enough, you can use like a charcoal grill cover. Those are real cheap. Or those nice blue tarps they seem to sell everywhere. Or just whatever. This is a universal motorcycle cover. I got a really, really good deal on it. It's got these little grommeted places on the bottom where you can put a padlock, and you know, ideally it just makes it that much harder for a drunk person to stumble over to it and knock it over. Now also, back in the 70s, Pooch also made a canvas cover, like a black, big heavy canvas cover with their logo on it. Really would have liked to have one of those, but they're pretty hard to come by. You'll see them every once in a while though. So yeah, make sure you cover your bike, especially if you have to park it outside. Next thing you can do, and this is just something just to increase your knowledge, is to go on Moped Army, do a search, and read through stories that people have posted about what's happened when their bikes have been stolen, and what they've had to do to get them back, or you know, what you can learn from their mistakes. There was a thread the other day where somebody had locked their bike up real securely. They locked it up next to a tree, and somebody chainsawed down the tree. Just little things like that. Also make sure that you've got lots of pictures of your bike you can post around in case the worst happens. Pictures of your VIN plate, the title, everything. Document it all, man. So that's pretty much all I have to say on the subject. You know, a lot of stuff is common sense. They sell little GPS trackers out there that you can put on your bike. But with that, sometimes you have to pay a monthly subscription fee, as well as make sure that that little GPS emitter device always has fresh batteries. And that's not really something I wanted to go through with, though it definitely can be done, and people have used stuff like that with success. I prefer just to, you know, go with these little common sense things that will ensure, to the best that you can, that your bike's not going to get messed with or stolen. It's all just about, you know, making sure you park it in the right place, a place that is out of the way, but at the same time not so far hidden that anybody can go back there and mess around as long as they want. This bike is pretty much done. Fixed all the air leaks, runs fantastic, and but at the same time, there'll still definitely be plenty of videos on it. I come across new stuff every day, and happy to share it with the world. Alright, YouTube, see you out there.